Hi, my name is Tim Smith. I am the Chief Development Officer for Museum of the Bible and excited about this great project of creating a museum that honors and respects and positions the Bible in current conversation. But today I'm here with my daughter, Christie, who is going to co-author with me this great book that we're working on called Blended But Not Broken. And it's really a story of redemption and renewal in relationships after what the world would call was a broken relationship or a broken family. We don't like that terminology. We don't like to look at our lives and say because we went through this heartache of divorce and remarriage and blending families that we're somehow broken. But we're really a blended component, and it's beautiful to see what God is doing and has done over the years. It's been many years now. It started over 25 years ago. And Christie, one of the stories that I think is so redemptive in this is the story between you and your stepmom now, my wife, Olivia. And you guys have had over 20 years together now in this relationship. And there's a lot of fear, I know, that went in to your anticipation of what would that be like to actually have another woman come into my life and then be in the home and actually be in that mentoring, maternal role in your life. And let's talk about that. Let's unpack that a little bit about, stepdaughter, stepmom, and that whole process.
Yeah. So like you said, I was definitely a little nervous about it, but I remember when you first introduced me to Olivia, and I know you warned her that I was going to be a little hesitant and nervous. So I totally remember that you and Olivia took me out to dinner by myself, which was like one of your best moves probably at that moment. And I remember just hanging out with her. I had just gotten my first job. I think I was 16 or about to be 16. And she took me after that. We all went to the mall and we picked out something. And I just remember that was a really good first introduction to her. She was so kind. I got to know her without the craziness that my brothers might add or that all her kids might add. And it was a really good way to meet her. So right off the bat, I was warmed up to the idea of Olivia, and you had dated a little bit. So I was getting used to the fact that this was going to happen one day. You might find somebody that you just loved. And so not too long after that, y'all got married, and it was really cool to see God in all the moments of that, all the different steps of that, because the right one, it was just easier for me and my brothers. And so we got that sense right from the beginning that Olivia was different. She just treated us awesome. So fast forward a little bit to actually being in it, and everyone's in the house now, and you guys are married, and between both of you there are 6 kids, most of which are living all together now in this house. And it was definitely a transition. We have all of us at different stages of life. Some of us are the same age for half of the year, and all that brings to the table. So there was some unique things, probably more for you guys parenting all of us at the same time. But from the beginning, Olivia just spoke love and life and wisdom at a time when I didn't know this, but I needed it. I needed to hear her voice in my life. And I had been living with all the boys for a good couple of years at this point. And at 16, if there's ever a time to have a female role model really come alongside you and love you like her own child, I really felt that from her. And I think you have a choice when you become a stepmom. You can look at it like, you know what, I'm gonna just get through it. They're my spouse's kids, and one day they'll be gone and we can do what we want. Or you can, buckle down and say, these kids need something that they haven't had in a while. They haven't had this other figure constantly in their life, in the home. And I'm going to come alongside them, and I'm not only going to love them like my kids, I'm going to show them the way, and I'm going to instill in them who God is, and that He loves them right where they're at, and He knows this whole road that you have walked, and I'm going to have incredible influence on their life. And as we all know, your kids at 18 usually move out of the house, but your parenting is far from over. So you can look at it like you're just trying to get them out of the house. But when you decide to have influence on their lives and to come alongside of them, and step parents, they have to earn it. They don't just get to come in there guns blazing. They have to earn it with their stepkids. It's a little bit different. They have to come alongside their new spouse and understand the way that they've been parented for all these years. And I feel like she really did that. I know that there were probably a lot of bumps that we didn't really know about on your end, trying to figure that all out with all of us. And she really didn't get a break from us. You know, we were there full time. We didn't really go visit anyone every other weekend or anything like that. So she didn't get that break. And now as an adult and a step parent myself, I can only understand how crazy that probably was for her. But it's a relationship now that is over 20 years strong for me and her. And when I see her name pop up on my phone, I get excited. I know that I'm going to get something good from her, something strong, still a lot of wisdom, maybe a little push towards something she knows I need to go for. And now that I'm a stepmom, little did I know how much those talks that we had all along the way. We used to joke I would just sit there while she would do dinner. I never helped. I just wanted to talk to her all the time. And I loved it. And we joke about that now because I really didn't learn how to cook.
That's
but,
right. Yeah, I've heard that.
Yes, you've heard that. But those are the moments I remember. And so now when we get time on the phone, I know that it's going to be something worthwhile and good, but it's something that she earned all along in all of those years. And I think it's something great for any step parent to know and to remember, including myself, that it's an earned relationship in the beginning. But once you have that, you have an avenue to their heart that is different, that a mom and dad don't have. A step parent is a little bit different. It's almost like it opens this extra door that you have. And once you earn it, it is sweet. But it's a road and it takes a while. And I feel like she did those steps with love and grace. And since then, I found out things that were hard for her that I never knew. She didn't show me how difficult it was, certain elements of things that she had to experience blending into us. And blending with a 16-year-old girl, I mean, I know there's a lot of things and challenges, and you feel very inadequate probably at moments. But she did so many things that stick with me today. And a huge part of who I am today is because of her. And most of who I am as a stepmom is because of her.
Yeah, it was a beautiful thing to watch, even as your dad. You know, because I think one of the great burdens I had in remarrying was the integration, not just of my three kids, but also of Olivia's. Because, I mean, at our wedding, if you remember, somebody jumped on the piano and played the Brady Bunch theme, you know, and you know, which. You know, we weren't exactly the Brady Bunch. We didn't solve everything in 30-minute programs. You know? It was a lot of work. But I think the beauty of that for me was when I realized suddenly I had been moved down the food chain on information, you know, and that when I all of a sudden I was hearing updates of your life through Olivia, that you guys had become, and to me, and I used to kind of joke around like, well, I'm the last to know around here about everything that's going on in Christie's life, but it was really a thing of beauty for me because I saw the integration and the synergy of that relationship as she poured life and love into you, and as those walls broke down for you to be able to receive it. And I don't think you could be the woman you are today had it not been for that relationship. Now, in so many blended families, that's not the story. You know, there's great tension between a stepmom and a stepdaughter, and even stepdads and stepsons, but there's sometimes that competition for the affection of the dad or the husband, and we've heard so many stories about that. And even Olivia and I have had so many people that have approached us that were considering blending families, and they looked at our family and thought, oh gosh, you guys seem to have figured it out, not knowing what was really going on behind the curtain all the time, and the challenges and the hardships of all that would come about. And for me, I always tried to talk them out of it, because I felt if I could talk you out of getting married, you weren't going to make it anyway.
Right.
Because it's hard work, and it was a lot of hard work that went on between you and Olivia as you guys were able to build this great bond of love. But more than love for each other, but this trust of each other that
Right.
you could depend on each other. Now, all these years later, I'm still at the end of the food chain. I think I think several years ago, I was the last person in the family to hear about your engagement to Mark before you guys got married. It was like, everybody was whispering, I remember, around the table one day until I walked in. It may be that I don't keep secrets really well or something like that. But to me, it was a great thing of beauty. What would you say to, I want to come back later and talk about your role as a stepmom, but just thinking as a daughter, and as you are relating to this person, what are maybe 2 or 3 things that you took hold of, that you learned, that really helped build that bridge as the daughter in that process?
Right. So one of the things that comes to my mind instantly, that again, I will never forget some of these things. Olivia, in the very, very beginning, respected that I had a really good relationship with you. And even to this day, she'll tell me, that's unique, that's special. And she always kind of instilled that in me, that we had something good. And she told me, she said, if there is ever a moment, a night, a couple hours where you just want to go hang out with your dad and do something, I'm not here to take that away from you. And that spoke into my heart and just into my relationship with you, that not everything had to be so different. We had these last couple of years where we were just used to you, just you, me and my brothers. And so, especially for me in the dad-daughter relationship that we had, the things that she said that had anything to do with really respecting that we already had a bond, and a long-standing, parenting relationship where she wanted to come alongside that spoke volumes to me, because again, what I brought in my very young age and my lack of maturity was that she was just going to come take over. And so I think that is huge, when you can come in and say, I respect that you have something with your child, you have something with your dad, and I want to support that, and I want to love you through that, and I don't want to take that away. I mean, there's nothing greater than that. And I think that right there and then, that happened before y'all got married, that just knocked down so many walls of like, okay, like this might actually turn out to be a really, really cool thing. And so I really value that. Something else that she did that I just take with me, and anytime I have opportunity to encourage other people with this, I do so, is she respected that I had a mom, and my mom didn't live right near me or anything, but she always spoke so highly of my mom, because she respected her as my mom. She didn't know her perfectly. She made sure to include her on the things that she needed to be included on. And regardless of a relationship there, just the respect that she knows that she's the stepmom. And I just think that goes really far with kids. It went far with me, because I was really concerned about feeling like she was going to try to replace my mom. And I didn't really need that, or want that. And, I was young, but I remember that meaning something to me, that she respected the role that my mom had, and then I called her mom, and so she existed. You can't pretend like they don't exist. And just the respect part of that was really, really big. And so I think those 2 things go really, really far when you're blending into a family and you've decided, you want to buckle down and have something good with your stepkids. I think that was really huge for me.
That's cool. Name of the book?
Blended, Not Broken.
That's right. It's going to be out soon, and we're excited. We're writing it right now and putting all of this content together, really telling the story from the inside. We're not psychologists, we're not psychiatrists, we're not even theologians, but we're people who live this out, and we're going to tell the story from inside the family system. And we're going to tell you our wins and try to encourage people with ways to survive and thrive through the blended family and inside the blended family. But we're also going to talk a little bit about our failures and the things that we did and the things that we tried that really just didn't work, and even created tension, and then how we recovered from those times, and how we worked with so many personalities and brought it together. And even today, years later, all of the kids raised out of the house, most of them beginning their own families now, raising their own children, how even today this story continues to be a story of great redemption. It's a story about blended families, not broken families, but blended families, and the beauty that can come from that relationship.